Welcome into the Devil's Digest game preview as Arizona State gets its head up to Ames, Iowa to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. As always, my name is Justin Lestratosa. That's publisher Hunter Bino. Before we get into things, we'd like to quickly thank our sponsors, starting with Burrito Express, the best burrito in the Valley, bar none, 100% fresh ingredients and authentic recipes. And they sponsor various ASU athletes, 2 NIL deals, and some great deals, some great bang for your buck as well. 9 Valley locations, not including all of the Circle K fast and fresh locations. So for more information on all the deals and locations, go to theburritoexpress.com. And another thank you to our other sponsor in Santan Ford. No car dealership in the Valley has helped hook up ASU football players with more deals on their vehicles than Santan Ford. So if you're in the market for a new or a used car, head up the Val Vista and the 202 freeway. Go to Santan Ford and they'll hook you up on a new deal for a new car. And Hode, from last year now this year as well, the Sun Devils have had some pretty good luck coming off a loss and then being able to flush that, bouncing back and getting a win. They're going to need that same type of energy coming off a loss to Houston as they head up to Ames.
Yeah, but I really think, Justin, it's going to be a harder task this time around because injuries, you don't want to use it as an excuse, but you can definitely use it as an explanation as far as what the ASU is going through recently, losing 2 of the last 3 games. And look, we all knew this was going to be the toughest stretch of the season. And I think maybe we're counting more on Iowa State being a part of that tough stretch compared to Houston, which is still, in my view, the biggest surprise of the Big 12. But I just feel that the injuries are just, for ASU right now, are really just too much to overcome. I think the slow starts is something that has been plaguing them, even in wins, but definitely in losses. So when you talk about that bounce back, you talk about that resolve, when you have the slow starts, when you have the persistent issues with the offensive line, with the special teams, just to name a couple, I think it just really makes the bounce back and the resolve really showcase itself as much as it did back in 2024. In 2024, there were some injuries, obviously, but Cam Scatterboy only missed 1 game. Sam Levitt missed only 1 game. And even Jordan Tyson missing both postseason games still, didn't affect ASU, who was a 4th down stop away from making it to the semifinals of the college football playoffs. But just like this seems the injuries, both the quantity and the quality, is really affecting ASU right now. And again, just a lot of shortcomings that this deep in the season that still have not been fixed. So I think the bounce back for ASU may not be impossible, but I think it's definitely much harder than what we've seen even earlier in the year, let alone in 2024.
Yeah, and no Sam Levitt, as you just alluded to. So Jeff Sims will be getting another start, and he's hoping that it's 3 times the charm. His first start came in Cincinnati last season on the road, and then against Utah in that infamous game this season, and now on the road once again in Ames. And with Jeff Sims at the quarterback position and also the other injuries to Jordan Tyson and the receivers having to step up, what do you expect the Sun Devil offense to look like?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Tyson, as of Thursday morning, is listed as doubtful. And even if he did end up playing, I mean, hard to believe we're going to get the same Jordan Tyson that we saw in earlier in the season. And it's not like him and Jeff Sims have 0 chemistry, but even if he were to play, to expect the same level of chemistry and cohesiveness that he has with Sam Levitt, I think would be wrong to assume that to begin with. Now, Jeff Sims, on the other hand, is a better runner, I think, than Sam Levitt, and Sam Levitt is definitely a plenty mobile quarterback in his own right. But on the road, we know that run game does travel. So if ASU can really establish a run game, and that definitely does include Jeff Sims, I think that can give the offense a good shot of making sure that ASU does win this game. The thing is ASU running the risk of maybe being one-dimensional, maybe relying too much on the run, just because Jordan Tyson, as it stands right now, is unlikely to play. Jaron Hamilton didn't have a great game last week, but did have a good game against Texas Tech a couple of weeks ago. Malik McLean finally arrived to the season, had a career day last week. But now when you just factor all that with a backup quarterback like Jeff Sims, how's it all going to mesh together? And obviously all week long, unlike the week that was leading up to the Utah game, Jeff Sims did take all the first team reps. So you hope that practice time is really going to pay dividends, but it really is a big unknown. And the irony over here is that Iowa State lost both of their starting corners a few weeks ago. So the secondary has definitely been exploited during that time. But the question is, can ASU really do that exploiting? Again, with Jeff Sims and with wide receivers, they really have not been consistent in their play. That's going to be a huge question mark. So again, I think that ASU's offense best bet to really to do some damage in this game is to run the ball effectively. The way Raleek Brown is playing, and the way Jeff Sims with his running capabilities can maybe give them a chance. But again, I just feel that as much as they want to be a very good ground attack team on Saturday, they have to make sure they're not over-reliant, because there are going to be opportunities to exploit that secondary for Iowa State that is very banged up.
Yeah, and Iowa State comes in with a veteran quarterback in Rocco Becht, who ASU saw in the Big 12 championship last year, but this Cyclone team is also a little bit banged up, and this ASU defense not coming off the best performance against Houston. What are they going to have to do against that Cyclone offense?
Yeah, as much as Rocco Becht is one of the better returning quarterbacks this year, like you said, injuries and just overall play of the offense have really hurt his numbers and in his performance. So it's definitely the run game for the Cyclones that ASU really has to pay extra attention to, with Abu Sama and Carson Hansen. Those are basically the two players that make this offense goes. And hard for me to believe that one of them or both of them is not going to have at least a good, if not great game, and Iowa State would still end up losing. So, maybe the one-dimensional danger, if you will, can hurt the ASU offense, but I think with the Iowa State offense, that actually can work really well. I think one thing to look out for, and I don't think they have any wide receivers that really can impose that much of a challenge to the ASU secondary, but they have a tight end in Ben Brahmer, who is going to be a physical aerial target for Rocco Becht. And we saw what happened last week against Houston, where their tight end had 7 receptions, 100 yards, and scored a touchdown. So best believe that when Iowa State coaches did see that film, they're thinking that now with their tight end, Brahmer, that they can maybe exploit the same deficiency that this ASU defense did show in that regard. But I think the ASU defense is, quote-unquote, catching a break over here in terms of the caliber of offense that they're facing. Nothing like Houston, let alone Texas Tech and even Utah, for that matter. So I feel that the defense is able to hold their own. But needless to say, they just really have to make sure that they shut down the run, because I think should be more than happy to take chances with the corners being on an island. Because even though Rocco Becht, again, one of the more experienced quarterbacks in this conference, I don't know if the passing game of Iowa State is necessarily going to be the aspect that's going to beat you if ASU were to lose on Saturday.
Yeah, and for the first time in a while, the Sun Devils are going into a road game while coming off a home loss. With all of these injuries in mind, what do you think it's going to look like for the Sun Devils going to Ames and going up against another injury-riddled team?
I just feel that ASU right now just has a bunch of unknowns. I mean, is Jeff Sims, like you said, for the third time as a starter, is he actually going to win a game for Arizona State? Or the wide receivers that obviously have to help Jeff Sims in that task, can they really step up after really being inconsistent for the large part of the season? Offensive line, and I know I'm maybe belaboring the point here from a game previews from last week and the week before, but very, very shaky run blocking, very shaky pass blocking. Can this offensive line finally play up to the level that they should be playing at? And maybe the Iowa State defensive line is giving them a break, if you will, compared to what they've seen against Houston, Texas Tech, and Utah for that matter. They're just really just a lot of unknown factors over here. And another thing that might sound very repetitive, but ASU on the road, as we all know, is a very different team than they are at home. Now, I know last week at home, they didn't exactly play lights out, but on the road, it just seems that the shortcomings that we see all year are just enhanced that much more. The slow starts, maybe you can get away with it at home here and there, but on the road, that really just puts you in a huge, huge hole that's really, really tough to climb. Iowa State is not playing at the caliber that they did in 2024. The same can be said, obviously, about ASU, but it is a team that usually does play well at home. They're right now in a 3-game losing streak. And with all the factors that I just mentioned, it's hard for me to see Iowa State coming out on the losing side over here. So I'm picking Iowa State to win this game 23-17.
Well, thank you, Hode, for your insight. The Sun Devils are in pursuit of a bounce back this weekend in Ames, Iowa. We'll have all the coverage, so to stay locked in. Go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at DevilsDigest. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again in Burrito Express and Santan Ford. And for publisher Hoterbino, I'm Justin Lacertosa. We'll talk to you guys on Saturday.